Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. In this one, we're going to be talking about basically the top things that I'd want to see fixed in the game. Got some new stuff coming. We obviously had the new character announced, and that certainly brings up a lot of conversations about people saying, hey, well, that's great, but what about this? So I was thinking about it. I've said a lot of these things in different videos, but I wanted to do a little compilation of top things to fix. So we'll get to it. Let me know in the comments below if you think there's something that's more important or one of these that you maybe think is the most important, anything I missed, etc. If you're new to the channel, definitely check out the Discord link in the description below. Easiest way to follow along. Hammer down like buttons, click notification bell, subscribe, all that sort of thing. And check out that membership thing if you want to help support the channel. All right, let's get to it.
Bring me WolverThor!
All right, so Widow's just going to be doing her thing back there. Don't mind her. I'm just going to kind of go over my list. I might click on a couple things in game, but I'm going to just be talking to you guys. So first thing that I wanted to bring up, did a video on this the other day, cores. The core system's bad. I don't like it. Now, having said that, I don't mind that system if there wasn't so much RNG in the game, and I'll get into some of that later. But right now there is. So cores, I talk about a pity system or maybe decrease the costs. To me, it's not even worth trying it. Anything 3 stars or lower for cores is not worth anything. I don't even like the 4 stars. So like you really want to get 5 and 6 star cores, but they're basically impossible to get. And you waste so much of your just materials trying to get it, and it might as well light it on fire. So I did the video on that the other day, so I don't want to elaborate too much on that, but I did want to touch on it. And again, I'll talk about some of the RNG stuff later. Next up, fodder. Now this is tied with the squad thing a little bit. Though I've been thinking a lot about this squad thing, and this is probably a separate conversation, but right now I'm going to say you need more fodder. I think in general you do. It's like, well, what do you mean right now? When would there be a scenario you don't need more? I suppose with a certain mentality or a certain outlook, maybe that's not the case, but I do think that there is some need for some fodder in the game. A lot of people struggle to even get to a certain gear set. And again, you don't need as much fodder if there's not as much RNG. So again, that RNG factor ties in there, but because I might roll up a chest that, has a bad stat on it that I can't make up for somewhere else, or same thing where I might roll up a helm that doesn't have the defense pierce that I need on it, I need to roll up more. Those sort of things really make it so it's like you have to roll multiples of these up. Obviously there's nano there, but because you're sometimes building up so many of these that, yeah, you could use it for nano, but at some point it's like, I don't have a lot of options to get stats from places, which again, I'll touch on that in another section later. But I think that you need some more fodder. There's one solution that I want to say for this one is I think, especially with the squad-wide stuff that they've got going, to sort of ease the pain for some people who are struggling with, look, I'm not interested in squad building. What about a squad-wide card set? And within that card set, you could have, depending on who you're on, you could roll an exclusive for each character that you have. So like maybe I've got all my specials up there. It's like, look, specials are so rare that I want to be able to have them across all my tunes, right? Now, especially with the fact that we've got, again, leaning into squad battles at some point, which we'll see what the rewards are. You need the raids allow you to bring all 9 of your characters if you want, which incentivizes people for whatever those rewards might be to have stronger tunes. So given how hard it is to get some cards up, I'd like to see the option of having a squad-wide card set. I just think it'd be interesting. I think it would help relieve some of the fodder needs for people. Now, if I want to, I can still have an exclusive, like, you know what, maybe my Widow doesn't want to use the squad-wide card set. She's got her own set that she has because there's certain stats that fill in there that I want to have for that. But, all of my alts, maybe I do want to pull off a squad-wide card set, which would be nice that I could have different things that, they have different exclusives on them. So I think this does help a lot with one other thing where you're seeing in these alliance raid modes where someone will go, well, hold on, I need to change my cards from this person to that person. So they take them off, they put them in storage, they switch their tune, they get them out of storage, they equip them, they do their battle, they take them off, they put them in storage, they switch tunes, they go to the storage, they take them out of storage, put it on the rinse and repeat. So that they can go do all these different things with their team. So why not just have a squad-wide card set that you're like, look, I'm going to put these on here, and it can be a sort of a default that loads into every character, and your character can again choose if they want that squad-wide set or if you want to have a separate one. I don't think it'd be that hard, and I think it'd be kind of nice for to have in there. The hard part might be some exclusives that are with each card, but I don't know. Anyway. Something to think about. I also think they should do that for badges, where I could have a squad-wide badge set where it's just like, look, this is what I've got for all my random alts. If I want to specifically work on one character that I've got a different set on, then I'm able to do that. I just think it'd be a lot easier for people, especially with the way they're leaning into some of the squad stuff. Even if the squad stuff is not giving you a ton of rewards, I think it's just people are using it. I think sometimes you want to save people from themselves a little bit, meaning people are going to spend all this time doing this over and over and over and over. They're going to keep doing it because they want to min-max so much. Put something like that in there. It's like, oh, all right, I'm going to save this person a little bit of time, right? Okay. So next thing, and I've said this in some other videos as well, reworking Raid and Blitz wholesale. These things are basically the same as Alliance Raid. We've got 3 game modes that are, for all intents and purposes, mostly the same. Alliance Raid, I think, is the best of the 3 because it's a little bit different. It's with your alliance. There's different buffs and debuffs that you can get on that based on what you bring in there. So for that reason, I think that they should rework regular Raid and Blitz. They're all too much similar. The content's too similar. So I've said this before. I think with the Raid and Blitz, you make it so it's more of a dungeon type crawl. So get rid of all of those, bring in a new name, whatever you're going to call it. It's a dungeon crawl. It's an obstacle course type thing, not like Spec Ops necessarily, but something where you're pulling mobs, you're defeating them. There's challenges you've got to go through as a group, a group of 4 or 5 or something like that, a small group that you can randomly queue or go in with a party. And I'd say I'd want to do this like 3. I wouldn't make this a daily thing. I'd like to see this like a weekly thing. And that's one of the things that I actually am starting to think about with the game in general is I don't want to have so many things to do on the daily. I'd rather have like, look, give me the week to do it. You know what I mean? Like, don't make me, there's enough things to bring me back every day. Don't make me have more of those. Because, I'd rather when I get in, find fun stuff to do, like PvP my friends, or, I'd add, and I didn't have this on my list, but I'd add an area where I can farm for super rare stuff or achievement type things. That's what MMOs are about. Rapport, achievements. Like, if I build my rapport up with, a mega flight, I get a, 5-star card or a special card. That's the type of things that MMOs typically have. So you should add stuff like that. So if you do that and you make, a Raid and a Blitz where it's a weekly thing, I think you could have the avenue to add things like that, which would be more fun. I would disperse the rewards that you currently get in Blitz and Raid into whatever this new game mode is. Maybe even throw some in Spec Ops to make that a little bit more attractive for people to do. And I would even, for this dungeon crawler, have some rare drops in there where it's just like, even 5 stars or regionals or specials at a low rate where it's like, you know what, you might get this from this sort of boss, so that's the one I'm going to run. And you can pick the one you want to run. I don't know, maybe there's 3 or 4 of them, but you have the potential to get some really nice stuff in there. Most Wanted. And I was talking about this with my guy Half-Son today. He doesn't like the system much. For him, it's mindless a little bit. And even for someone like my status, it's pretty mindless as well. I don't mind it as much, though. I just kind of, yeah, whatever. But I would agree with the fact that they should ditch the system and make more of like a world boss that pops up less often. I also think with this that I would make it so that the main villain ones, the Kingpins, the Hellas, the Crossbones, the Uliks, those types, they're more rare and popping up even more so than they are now, but they have a chance of dropping good items again. That's the whole point of having some of these things is you want a chance at getting a good item out of it. I would also have that these bosses will always drop the Blitz badges that they're sort of associated with. I always think of Kingpin. Anything that's associated with their collections. So that way it's like, you know what? I'm never going to go run a Kingpin Blitz, one, I think you should remake it. But the way for me to finish that collection is to go find the Kingpin in the wild and farm him, and and hope to get that collection status done. And that's how I'll do it. I think that's a decent way to do it. You're always going to get the Blitz badge drop, but then you also have a rare drop that could pop as well. I think that would make it a lot more fun. Another core rework thing that I want to talk about. I don't think there should be any core color that should be considered bad on a toon. The worst thing in the world is rolling up a badge and getting a yellow or a blue on a character that has zero use for that core. So one, they can add new cores in the game, some mixed color cores. They've talked about that in the past, like rainbow colors, or just make general, new cores that have stats on them that are worthwhile. Like, and I've mentioned this before, stam recovery, range and melee damage decrease, cooldown, total damage, max damage rate, stuff like that. Like, why not have a max damage core for blue? You know what? Maybe that's not so bad. And maybe it's not, and then I'm okay, right? This does allow us some more flexibility so that when we get stats on cards and gear, maybe I'm less worried about it. And maybe this helps solve some of the fodder issue where it's like, look, if I know I can get something from a core, then maybe I can not stress about making sure that my gear rolls an exact certain way or my cards roll an exact certain way so that I have to have that, because that's just... when you have so many of these things that you need to just roll exactly perfect, it's like, it's not as fun. You want to give people a flexibility where it's like, okay, this is where I really refine things is right here. But generally speaking, I get a lot of my base stats this way, and however it rolls, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. But I do like that concept. Right now, people, they really do think they need to get something specific on gear. And I think it's better to give them, a chance to do what they want. One of the things that I've talked about a lot, and a lot of people have talked about a lot, is there's too much RNG everywhere. It's just literally cards, gear, the stats, the cores. They fixed the one with the Omega cards with the grades of it. So now that at least you can up that if you want to. Okay, that's fine. I think it's a step in the right direction. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And I think you might be able to leave the cores how they are if you fix some of the other RNG, because I've got, like, for instance, I play another game where the RNG is terrible. You can spend, it's like a 10% chance to get something, and people do it like 30 times before they actually succeed at it. So, and at some point you're guaranteed to succeed. So I would say even with that massive RNG chance there, they still eventually can guarantee their ability to get whatever they're trying to get. To me, that should always be the case. Like, fine, you want me to do something 30 times? Okay, there's a chance of that. Chance to do it sooner. But at some point, you pity me enough for trying that off, you're going to give me my thing. So, but in general, I really think that there needs to be less RNG. And given the fact that it does seem like we're looking at alliance raid and potentially squad battles. I really hope squad battles doesn't come in with some crazy good rewards. It needs to be like, finishing the last 1% of something where it's like, yeah, it's great if I get it. I don't care otherwise. Because if it's not that, people are going to it's just not going to be good, I don't think. I already mentioned this earlier, but lots of daily things are kind of going on. I would like to see a little bit more weekly. I think this will allow people to not worry about getting their dailies done every single day, and they can maybe mess around with aspects. Like I mentioned, the farming concepts you want to do before. We have this, 1v1 match thing, which I've always wanted and I want to do, but I found that I don't have time to do it. I am an adult family man who's got a job. I also like to watch TV. I also like to play some other games. Look, I like Marvel Future Revolution. Part of the reason I like it is because I can also auto away from it. But I don't have the time, because I have to, by the time I get through all my dailies and everything done, it's like, well, I've got like an hour to do anything else in my life. You know what I mean? Before I have to go to bed. So I'd like to see some things shift more to weekly. So that way, if I get time on a weekend or one random night, I'm just don't have a lot of stuff to do. Now I can just hammer a bunch of that out and not have to worry about it. And then maybe some other nights that week, I can do some 1v1 type stuff. I look forward to that. Dark Zone, this needs some sort of adjustment. I'm not exactly sure what I think it does. Now, I will say that it does bring some of the most fun for me and some of my alliance mates. Now, granted, we're a more powerful alliance, so obviously, like, to be able to protect each other where we walk in there. That's fun. But we've fought against many other alliances kind of working together against us, and or an alliance that formed from other ones. And it can be fun when folks are there fighting, and it's kind of brings some uncertainty to the game. That's something that Half Sun says he really likes as well. But I just, it's a 1 hour for a daily task, and one daily task. It's a lot. So there's something there. I just feel like it needs to be adjusted. I haven't figured out exactly what I think it is yet, but want to mention that. And then, you know, some other random stuff, you know, matchmaking. Hopefully that gets better. I love that they adjusted the Omega War points so that now, you know, there's no incentive to really be 110 and sort of try to, you know, be at the top of Omega War rankings there. The only reason to do that is if you're just looking to essentially pick on people or bully them on there as they're leveling up, which you should, I mean, spend more time on your higher level tunes and not waste your time with that. But be yourself, I guess, whatever. Flying, you guys are going to, any flyers out there are going to hate this comment, but I do think there should be some adjustment between the flying and walking, specifically in stuff like Omega War. They lowered the ceiling, but I can't tell you how many times, like as a walker and someone wants to go fly away, there is literally nothing I can do. Nothing. And there's no cooldown on flying. So, you know, for anybody who's like, well, you can go invisible. Yeah, there's a cooldown on that. And eventually, a lot of times, like, I don't have any of that at the end of an Omega War because I'm actually fighting. Now, even if I saved it, you know, I'd only have it for 3 uses if it was at max. And that was it. Whereas flying, you can have someone just soar around the map, and as a walker, it's like you double jump and try to hit them, but most times you can't even get them. So anyway, I know they talked about that once before, and I hope that they're doing something for that that's gonna come out soon, because it is pretty frustrating. I will say that I think generally speaking, the balance is in an okay spot. There does need to be some adjustments with Captain Marvel. I think she got nerfed too hard. She's sort of fallen off a little bit. Doctor Strange still, I think, needs a couple little tweaks. And then I still have an issue with the, you know, the fights that are the ones that damage you before they do animations. I just, you know, guessing whether someone's going to do a move or not is not the way it should work. If I recognize an animation and dodge, I should be rewarded for that dodge, as opposed to being like, well, I need to pre-dodge to make sure I don't get hit here. So anyway, those are the fixes I got. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of go through those. I know Widow's kind of been running around the background there. I got to get to Dark Zone. So appreciate you guys hanging out this long. Hammer down like buttons, click notification bells, subscribe, all that sort of thing. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.